So let's imagine, and I'd love to see a show of hands, if any of you can relate to any of these statements. You don't have to say which ones, although you're welcome to. But if you can relate to any of these statements, just type in the chat or give me like a quick show of hands through the emojis. Okay. You often aren't sure why you do what you do for others in a relationship. How about this? You're a people pleaser. How many of you said, I'm a people pleaser? How about you jump in to save others, even at your own expense? Right? How about you don't trust yourself to make good decisions about other people? Maybe you've got a bad picker, right? How about you sometimes believe you're not good enough? Like you find a great friendship or a great relationship and you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? What about you fall hard and fall fast for people, often the wrong people? But it feels good to fall hard and fall fast, doesn't it? That dizzying descent. Ooh, yeah. You care a lot about what people think. Maybe too much about what people think, including strangers. Right? How about you get caught up in pointless arguments for no reason? You have a hard time saying no. Right? And how many of you find yourself at the end of a relationship, possibly repeatedly, looking back and saying, wow, I need to find myself again. I lost who I was in that relationship. I don't know the person I became. I don't know the person I want to be, especially after a long-term relationship, right? You have to find yourself again. Okay. So I know that some of you said yes to at least one of those. Some of you said yes to more than one of those statements. Maybe you can find a little bit of yourself in all of them, because every single one of those points represents a hole in your boundaries, maybe multiple holes in those boundaries, right? And that is why we're here. So let's turn these around. And again, just a show of hands or something in the chat if you love the idea of being able to say these things truthfully and confidently, or if you can say some of these things truthfully and confidently. Here goes. I know why I do what I do, and I'm happy with my decisions. How about this? My happiness and well-being is not only a priority, but a daily reality. I help others only when I'm able and when it feels good to me, when I have that energy, when I have those spoons. I know that I am lovable and worthy. Imagine that. Super confident, 100% truthful. I know that I am lovable and worthy. I trust myself, and I know when to trust others. I have unbelievably amazing people in my life, and my new relationships develop at a pace as I get to know people. I'm compassionate towards others and firm when needed. I'm able to accept feedback and even criticism without taking it personally. How's this one sound? I have little to no drama, fighting, or arguments in my life. How does that sound? I am deeply and authentically myself in and out of relationships. And I say no easily because it means saving my energy for things and people that really matter to me. Would you like that? You think so? Maybe? Of course you fucking would. Anybody would, right? These are the types of things that we want for ourselves. We want to be able to say these things about ourselves. And all of these things are a function of good personal boundaries. So we're going to move on to what are boundaries, but one more time, we're going to turn this around. And there's a method to my madness here. What would it be like to have a friend who could say all of those things confidently and truthfully about themselves? What would it be like to have a friend or a coworker or a family member or a romantic partner who takes responsibility for their actions, who is happy and emotionally balanced overall, who is willing to lend a helping hand because they want to, and you never will wonder if they're doing it out of feelings of guilt or because they have an ulterior motive, who is able to accept compliments, friendship, and love from you easily, who trusts you and sees you for who you are, who makes you feel appreciated just for being you in their lives, who's kind when telling you that you've hurt them or when disagreeing with you, and who is gracious when you tell them that they hurt you, who seems at peace with where they are in the world, even when they are still growing and improving themselves, who lives their most full and authentic life, and who says yes to you and spends time with you because you matter to them. Can you say that about all of your friends and partners now? Respect for them. I'd suck them off silly. Yes, all these things, except knowing when to trust people. And I am tired of people criticizing me. Oh, 100%. But here's the thing. Most humans, even those with good boundaries, are still human. No one is perfect. But if you know someone who can claim most of these things, and not just in their social media posts, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? These people have an inner energy, a glow, a magnetism, charisma that comes from knowing who they are and what they want and not accepting less than they deserve from others in their life, right? Boundaries are the key. Y'all know the serenity prayer, where it says, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Boundaries are that difference because boundaries define you to yourself and to others. Boundaries are where I end and you begin. So, that little exercise, the reason behind that was to show you where you might be right now, or to give you the thought to think about where are you right now? Where would you like to be? And then, because a lot of people think, well, as soon as I start putting up boundaries, people are going to love me less. I wanted to turn that around and show you what boundaries look like in the humans who have them in our lives. And to give you an idea of what that person might look like. And so you can ask yourself, would I love somebody? Would it be possible for me to love somebody who was able to embody all of those boundaries? So, what do you think? Do you think you would be capable of loving someone who knew exactly who they were, who were able to create space for you, who were able to say yes and no to you honestly and compassionately? How does that sound to y'all? Does that sound good?